Good morning to all and good morning to everyone, ma'am. I am Noella Teresa Tan, and we are going to present our paper, which is entitled The Patient Satisfaction and Clinical Laboratory Services Among Tertiary Private Hospitals and General Santos City. So, for the researchers, the following are Maningding Christian Dave, Robles Jody Kimberly, Dalumpinas Eunice, Pasana Irene, and of course, no other than me, Tanawala Teresa Ann, Arsanos Joanne, and Poros AM. Next slide, please. So for the statement of the problem, the study aims to answer the research question to assess the level of satisfaction of outpatient that acquire laboratory offered services from a tertiary private hospital. So number one, SOP, what is the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of gender, age, and educational attainment? Two, what is the level of satisfaction of the respondents in the clinical laboratory services in terms of patient care management, facility, and administrative features? Number three, is there a significant relationship between the demographic profile and the level of satisfaction on the clinical laboratory services? So before proceeding on the results, to give a background information of our study, it is actually a quantitative descriptive research design, and the local of our study is that we selected three tertiary private hospitals, the Doctors Hospital, St. Elizabeth Hospital, and Soxygen County Hospital. But unfortunately, we were able to gather only in two hospitals, which is the St. Elizabeth and the Soxygen County Hospital, since till now we haven't received any response to the Doctors Hospital. So for the sampling technique, it will be reported by Eunice Dalumpinas.
For the sampling technique, the study utilized non-probability sampling technique, which is convenience sampling. So where the researcher selected participant who is available to participate in the study. So the respondents of this study consist of convenience sample of 396 patients who received laboratory services in 3 tertiary private hospitals. So we utilized Rausoft computer software where we came up with a desired number of respondents. So each hospital has 132 respondents. But due to one hospital, which is the General Santos Doctors Hospital, who did not respond to our letter for us to conduct study in their laboratory, so we came up with 264 respondents coming from St. Elizabeth Hospital and Soxygen Hospital.
So next, for the research instrument, we utilize close-ended survey questionnaire to collect data from the participants. It is translated to local languages. However, due to COVID-19, we have gathered our data via the Google form, and some were distributed in the laboratory setting with the help of a medical technologies that are respectfully asked to distribute the following questionnaires during their free time. So for the gathering our data, we sent the letter to the school and at the same time to the admin of the hospital to allow us to conduct our study. But due to COVID restrictions, we, the researchers, seek for the alternative way to conduct our study to lessen the exposure to COVID-19. So in the Soxygen, we have gathered our data via the help of medical technologies, which is they disseminate our questionnaires during their free time. So in St. Elizabeth Hospital, the data gathered via online questionnaires. Unfortunately, we did not came up to the 100% total respondents because General Santos Doctors Hospital did not approve our study on time. But overall, we gathered 264 respondents, 66.67% out of 100% respondents.
Next slide, please. So for the result, this chapter interprets and analyzes the data gathered in the study, and the research questions from the statement of the problem were given answers to the findings. So like what I've said, our study is a quantitative descriptive research design, specifically correlational study, and the data gathered or obtained from survey questionnaire answered by the patients of outpatient department, and were analyzed using statistical tools, which are the following: frequency distribution percentage for the demographic profile, mean to obtain the average of satisfaction level, and person R correlation to represent the relationship between the demographic profile and the level of satisfaction. So since we only approved by 2 tertiary private hospitals, the researchers were able to gather around 264 respondents that account for 66.67% of the overall total number of respondents, which is 364. Next slide, please. So to answer the first question of our statement of the problem, which is what is the demographic profile of respondents in terms of gender, age, and educational attainment, we have here the results about the demographic profile respondents. So for the first result, we have the table 1, frequency distribution of participants according to gender. As we can see here, we have female and male. Female has a frequency of 150 and equivalent of 57% percentage. Male has a frequency of 114 and equivalent percentage of 43%, a total of 264 for the frequency of female and male, and equivalent to 100% of percentage. So the table 1, it shows that clearly that there are more than female respondents than the male, since it is 150 in frequency and the percentage of 57%. So it actually indicates that more women are health conscious and concerned and immediately seeks medical care than male. Since male has a frequency of 114 and a percentage of 43%, which is similar to the findings of a certain study, and that was conducted in Finland by Stefan year 2013. It is all about the results were all about the women are interested and reported much more active seeking for health related information, while the men do not usually seek medical care due to some reasons like fear of diagnosis and at the same time macho attitude. So talking about macho attitude is that it is all about or connected to those men self-supported, the views about masculinity that causing the men to less likely get consistent care in medical care rather, according to Branson and 2016 and Harvard University, year 2014. Next.
Okay. To answer the question of what is the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of age, so we have here the list of age of the participants. So I'm going to mention the frequency distribution of participants according to age from highest to lowest. So ages from 21 to 30 with a frequency of 146 and a percentage of 55%, followed by 31 to 40 years old with a total of 37 and a percentage of 14%. Then ages from 16 to 20 with a frequency of 26 and a percentage of 10%. Next, we have 41 to 50 years old with a total of 25 and a percentage of 9%. Next in line, ages from 51 to 60 with a frequency of 23 and a percentage of 9%. And lastly, we have 61 and above with a frequency of 7 and a percentage of 3% with a total of 264 with a percentage of 100%. So it is apparent in table 2 that majority of the participants are from ages 21 to 30. with a frequency of 146 and a percentage of 55%, which represents the working age and mostly who are applicants for job placement. So, as mentioned by the Philippine Statistics Authority in 2019, the largest number of employed persons were in the age group 25 to 34 years, with 27.5% of the total employed, and the second largest group is ranged from 35 to 44 years. So workers in the services sector comprise the largest proportion of the employed population, in which these employees have their annual physical checkup to prevent diseases risk. So also, this age range are almost mostly active in using technology, thus they are more into participating online survey, which is comparable to the study of Ruska in 2020. It shows that ages from 18 to 28 years with a percentage of 51.50% uses Facebook several times a day. So it has been revealed that as age increases, the number of used social media decreases. So next, please.
So in table 3, it answers the question of what is the demographic profile of the respondent in terms of educational attainment. So the highest frequency is the college um, with frequency of 172 with 65% percentage. The next is high school with frequency of 88 and 33% of percentage. And the lowest is the elementary with frequency of 4 and 2% percentage. So in table 3, it shows that the respondents are mostly college graduates and mostly are fresh graduates or college graduates that seek for a job and new jobs. Nowadays, companies do not accept employees without clear medical test or examination. So companies check it before hiring. That is also stated from the study of Purnama in the year 2017. Medical assessment helps to assess the suitable of the employee and ensure to not increase the risk of injury or transmit any contagious diseases. And the lowest result is the elementary graduates, which is only 2%. These are usually struggling, looking for a job, and mostly the job they get does not require medical examination. People nowadays is more likely to provide their means to at least finish high school or even graduate up until college. Because for them, once you finish studying, there are more opportunities that will come. So, as stated by Loveless in the year 2021, employment options are shrinking for people who only have high school or elementary diploma, which work in a service industry in low paying jobs that do not offer many opportunities for advancement. Next, level of satisfaction in the clinical laboratory. This answers the question in the statement of the problem. What is level of satisfaction of the respondents in the clinical laboratory services? So in the patient care management, in this table, the first question is the patient care management with 3.88 mean with the high satisfaction remark, laboratory staff's attitude when it comes to work, 392 with the mean of 392 with high satisfaction remark, calming and soothing voice while giving or explaining an instruction with the mean of 3.99 with high satisfaction remark, patience in explaining with 3.91 with high satisfaction remark. Politeness of laboratory staffs in their working site with a mean of 4.05 with high satisfaction. Knowledge of medical personnel when it comes to their selected field or section in laboratory with 4.10 4.08 with high satisfaction, able to explain and give instruction clearly with a mean of 4.02 with high satisfaction remark, and able to respond and give answers to the question asked by the patient with a mean of 4.06 with high satisfaction remark. So the total mean of patient care management is 3.99 with high satisfaction remark. So in table 4 shows that the participants are highly satisfied with the patient care management in the laboratory with mean of 3.99. So that connects to medical personnel's professionalism, which also indicates in the study report of HCPC, or the Health and Care Professions Council, in the year 2014, that the professionalism has a basis in individual characteristics and values, but is also largely defined by context. It varies with number of factors, including organizational support, the workplace, the expectation of others, and the specifics of each service user or patient encounter, and also could affect how relationships were established with patients, how patient responded, and ultimately patient care. Next is table 5.
So for the table 5, it answers the second question of our statement of the problem, which is what is the level of satisfaction of the respondents in the clinical laboratory services in terms of facility. So for the facility, it has a high satisfaction remark with 4.09 mean percentage. For the facility and equipment of the laboratory, I want to clarify it, ma'am, na the remark should be interpreted as high satisfaction, as 4.11 was supposed to be considered on that certain range. However, due to typographical errors, it was shown differently. Next is the cleanliness of laboratory materials and equipment, which has high satisfaction remark with a 4.09 mean percentage. Cleanliness and accessibility of comfort room, which has a high satisfaction remark with 3.96 mean percentage. Next, waiting areas like sitting facility and other facility in laboratory are comfortable and enough to accommodate a large number of clients, which has high satisfaction remark with 3.91 mean percentage. Overall, mean is 4.03 with a high satisfaction remark. So this table 5 presents that the participants are highly satisfied in terms of the facility with a mean of 4.03, particularly in terms of facility and equipment of laboratory. However, among the questions asked, the participants rated the waiting area as the lowest. This can be explained by the related study which is conducted in Ethiopia, which the results shows that 78% of the patients were satisfied with the clinical services. Patients were less satisfied with cleanness of waiting area, which is 47%, long waiting time, 30%, and adequacy of waiting area, which is 25%. Moreover, most laboratory patients were satisfied with the service provided by hospital laboratories. However, patients were less satisfied because of the accessibility of the sites and adequacy of waiting area. But above all, responsible bodies in each level should act on the identified gaps and improve the need of patients in the clinical laboratory, according to Hilo et al. 2020. And according to African Journal of Laboratory Medicine, waiting time is a major cause of clinician satisfaction with laboratory services. The identification of clinician challenges and the effective implementations of corrective actions contribute to the improvements in clinician satisfaction.
When it comes to the level of satisfaction in terms of administrative features, the result shows that in the administrative feature itself, the remark has a high satisfaction with a mean percentage of 3.78%. The availability of requested service has a high satisfaction with 3.89 mean percentage. The procedure of laboratory test from the start until the end has a high satisfaction level with 3.92%. Laboratory test fees has a high satisfaction level with 3.69%, and the availability of laboratory personnel during the arrival in laboratory has a high satisfaction level with 3.91%. The convenient location of the laboratory or hospital has a high satisfaction level with 3.84 mean percentage. For the administrative features mean, it has a high satisfaction level with 3.84 total mean percentage. So in table 6, it displays the results that the participants are highly satisfied with the procedure of laboratory test from start until the end with 3.92%. However, among all the high satisfaction results, laboratory test fees, which has a 3.69% percentage, could also be seen with the least percentage result compared to others. In relevance to the study of Hailu et al. In the year 2020, patients are more likely to consider the care of how good the procedure of laboratory test is being performed from the beginning until the end, for the reason that they want to ease the pain that they have felt at the moment. And with great procedure, they think that it will minimize their struggle. In addition to that, it has been said that patients who are found satisfied during the procedure will tend to comply with the treatment, will take an active role in their own care, and will continue using medical care services. On the other hand, the percentage from the laboratory test fees of patients will also affect the satisfactory level because as patients experience cost expensive service, especially in medicine, this will result in the limitation of their access to healthcare for their inability to pay for quality services. And that is supported by the study made by Heath in the year 2017.
So for the table 7, it shows that the correlation of the demographic profile and level of satisfaction in patient care management, facility, and administrative feature. In the answer to the statement of the problem 3, which is if there is a significant relationship between the demographic profile and the level of satisfaction and the clinical laboratory services. In correlation, R refers to the strength of the relationship, while the sig value refers to the significance of relationship. Among the characteristics of the participants, only age has a significant relationship with patient care management, facility, and administrative feature. Even though age has a weak relationship to the level of satisfaction, since the R value is negative, which means that when the age is getting older, the level of satisfaction decreases, or the younger the age, the more they are satisfied, but it is still significant since the p-value of age in level of satisfaction is lower than 0.05. This may be due to older people tend to have problems in analyzing the given medical information and how they handle the results. Also, older people might tend to seek convenience in terms of acquiring medical services. In the relation of the study of Carter, with younger patients, older hospital patients have unique needs for the delivery of their care. This may be due to the fact that older patients find it more difficult to process complex medical information and are also less likely to maintain their emotional equilibrium while receiving such information. While both gender and education has no significant relationship with the level of satisfaction, the R value of gender is positive but has no relationship to the level of satisfaction. And the significance level is greater than 0.05, which is considered not significant. Also, in the education, the R has negative value and has no relationship to the level of satisfaction, and the sig value is greater than 0.05, which is also not considered significant. One of the possible reasons why gender and education can be a predictor is that the satisfaction depends on the person itself. The way they set standards, satisfaction, and the experience they get to the service. Also, mismatch between patient expectation and the service received is related to decreased satisfaction.
For the discussion, the results coming from the data gathered indicates that in determining the satisfaction, only the age has a significant relationship between the level of satisfaction in patient care, facility, and administrative care. Also, gender and education have no significant relationship to become a determinant. However, based on the data, there are more female respondents who have answered the questionnaire, and this indicates that due to their much concern and consciousness about health, they tend to seek for medical care more often than male. That is also for the proven study care. It was also shown that the majority of the participants are from the ages 21 to 30, by which this age group represents the working age in the part of the population where mostly seeking for job placement as supported by the Philippine Statistics Authority. This age group are much more into the use of technology these days, giving them the reason to participate well in the study that has been conducted. On the frequency distribution of participants according to education, the result shows that college graduates are more likely to be found in high results because the following population were seeking for a job. Medical assessment is part of the requirement when it comes to employment, and that is to ensure there's a suitability to perform work. Next, in the level of satisfaction in terms of the patient care management, the data shows that the participants coming from the two different hospitals were highly satisfied with the patient care management in the laboratory, especially on how the medical personnel are highly knowledgeable. HCPC also supported that professionalism has a basis in individual characteristics and values. On the other hand, the result when it comes to the patient satisfaction when it comes to the facility shows satisfaction, especially when it comes to the facility and equipment of the laboratory. In addition, the level of satisfaction of patients when it comes to the administrative features have also shown that the participants are highly satisfied, especially in the procedure of laboratory tests that is being performed from the beginning until the end. Patients who are found satisfied during the procedure will most likely to comply more with the treatment and will take an active action in taking good care of themselves. Also, to the result being shown, the correlation of demographic profile on level of satisfaction in patient care management, facility, and administrative features shows that there is no significant relationship between the demographic profile and the level of satisfaction on the clinical laboratory services. If there is, only age has a significant relationship among all the characteristics of participants. Age could predict the level of satisfaction because the older the person might get, the more it seeks for convenience when it comes to obtaining medical help from the professionals. Also, gender and education will less likely be part of the determinant or predictor because based on the study, there are no standards that measures the health effects of gender. Lastly, the education does not also affect the patient satisfaction because everyone seeks for aid, and it does not mean that if you happen to become unfortunate enough to your studies, then it will make you less significant from choosing and observing proper management and services. Uy, so many. Sorry. There are at least three major limitations in this study that could be addressed in future research. First, the study had limited access to data. Since we are all facing the global pandemic, the researchers cannot go to the hospitals to conduct a survey due to restrictions such as lockdowns and community quarantine. Therefore, the researchers engage in online survey to gather participants, which is not accessible by those who does not indulge in technology. Technology nowadays has been growing and advancing even more, where it is really hard for the people who aren't into technology. Another limitation in that is that the researchers have not reached the 100% total respondents because of the reason that General Santos Doctors Hospital did not respond to the request of the researchers to conduct study at their hospital. Lastly, the lack of previous research studies, especially the local studies of the patient satisfaction in the clinical laboratory. Most studies are gathered from online due to lack of studies that are published physically, so the type of literatures have a smaller range, and the inadequacy of local studies, which hinders the credibility of the research paper, and the researchers had a difficult time to gather other literatures because of this problem. In contrast to the limitations, there are still strengths in the study that could be helpful for future research. This study provides a general guideline on what should they focus on improving from the patient care management, facility, and administrative features. They could correlate the significant relationship between age and the patient care management, facility, and administrative features, since the results have shown that only age has showed significant relationship. Also, using online survey as an alternative to face-to-face survey provides access to individuals in distant locations and the convenience of having data collection that automated, which reduces the researcher's time and effort in coding the gather data. Next. Based on the findings and conclusions, the researchers presented.
KD, Jody na Jody.
Okay, so in addition for the discussion, as what Katie have said, that our study has its limitations and strengths, that when it comes to accepting hypothesis that will be based on the results given, we should reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis when it comes to the age, since it showed that there is a significant relationship between the age and in determining the patient's level of satisfaction. However, when it comes to gender and education, we have to accept the null hypothesis, as the following shows no significant relationship in determining patient satisfaction. As we proceed in the recommendation, so based on the findings and conclusions, the researchers presented the following recommendations and suggestions for the hospital, which they may use this research in developing their program, especially to the facility that will improve the convenience of their patients. That is most likely for the outpatient in the waiting area. For the academe, this research would be useful for them to intensify the way of teaching that will not just mainly focus on the technical use or skill and knowledge, but also in the area wherein the students can learn the importance of developing one's character. For the community, this could be helpful to the society by means that when the hospital improves their facility, their convenience for obtaining quality services will be given importance. For the healthcare providers, this will help them in assessing themselves and which part of the patient care they should improve themselves more. For the future researchers, this will help them discern that gender and education has no significant relationship in determining the level of satisfaction when it comes to the outpatient services given by laboratories from tertiary private hospitals. And that ends our reporting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. May kindly unshare your screen, Ms. Robles. Thank you. Okay, so I think all of you are now ready now for the Q&A. But before that, I would like to congratulate all of you for really finishing this research output. That despite of the challenges, not during this pandemic, you were able to come up with a very good study about level of satisfaction among patients, especially with the laboratory services in the hospital, and also with your advisor. Congratulations. And may I ask, no, as Mr. Maningding, okay, kanina ko pa ito si Christian Dave, no? Kasi sabi ko na kapag almusal ito, Mr. Maningding, how many participants or respondents do you have? How many respondents?
Each hospital, ma'am, we have 132 respondents.
Okay, Ms. Dalumpines, with the number of respondents, how you were able to gather information? What is your method of data collection?
Okay, for the St. Elizabeth Hospital po, they suggested that we should use or utilize online surveys such as Google Forms to they gather the data because of global pandemic and because of the restrictions. And in the Surgeon Hospital po, we use survey questionnaire for gathering the data po.
Okay, you just drop the questionnaire and then you get it after.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Medyo madilim dyan sa'yo, okay, no? Nasa labas ka. Okay, maliwalas dyan sa labas. Okay, Ma'am Reza and Ma'am Glenda, baka may mga pauna kayong tanong.
If okay lang po din yung mga tanong kasi nasa paper po nila. Si Ma'am Girly po. Nag-fix pa siya sa yung ano.
Ano ba itatanong ko? Natanong ko na kasi kahapon lang. Siguro na lang, I would like to know as for the future researchers, especially that only age is highly correlated, what do you think are the other factors that can be considered when they do a future research? Anyone?
Okay.
Hello,
Ako
ma'am.
na lang. Sige, Jody, ikaw na lang.
Okay, so for the future researchers, as what we have said that the gender and education has no significant relationship in determining the level of satisfaction of patients when it comes to the outpatient services. So there are other part of the demographic profile that we can suggest to them, such as the level of income of the patients, their ethnicity, or how far they are from the rural area or the urban area. That's all, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Ano pa ba? Since age lang no yung nag-correlate, why do you think education is not a factor? Other than what you have mentioned already in your RRL, what else can be the possible reason? Hindi education. Mas mahirap or mas madali bang isatisfy ang tao na mataas ang pinag-aralan considering your demographic profile?
For that, ma'am, I think na kaya mahirap i-satisfy ang mga nasa higher degree of education kasi po sa once ang person ay may mataas na pinag-aralan, masyado siya maraming technicalities and madami na po siyang mga standards na kailangan i-meet ng isang hospital para masatisfy yung isang individual. So sa lower degrees naman ng mga individual like high school or elementary, iisa lang ang kanilang parang standard, which is mabigyan sila ng maayos na pag pag-perform ng mga procedure sa kanila. Yun lang yung gina-focus sila since di pa masyadong malawak yung standards nila sa isang bagay mo.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, so it is only your opinion, Mr. Maningding, or is it supported by certain researches as well and books? Are there any literature to support that?
Own opinion lang po, ma'am.
Okay, so can you look for literatures or any material that can support that particular claim that really the higher your educational level, the difficulty of satisfying that particular client, the more difficult to satisfy that client. Like for example, pag may doctorate degree na pala yung tao, no, mahirapan na kasi mas mataas yung standards. Yung sabi mo, di ba, Christian? Kaya nga, Ma'am Raisa, di ba, sa pag-boyfriend, pag mag-PhD ka na, mas higher yung standards. So, okay. So, parang study na rin ni Mr. Maningding yan. Okay. But it should be supported with certain literatures. Okay, shall we start with the different suggestions now from the title page down to the appendices of this study? So from the title page, not to be uniform with other programs, kindly change na lang a research study presented to the faculty. Wala na yung staff, you can omit that staff to the faculty of the medical technology program instead of department. Okay, so please take note of that. So to the faculty, I remove and staff. Yung staff, you need to remove that one. Okay, some more for the title page, Ma'am Raisa and Ma'am Glenda.
Okay na po ako sa title page nila din.
Okay. So
comment lang po dito.
Okay. So for the approval sheet, please remove for my name, that's Grace Joy Ginietes, RN, PhD. You may remove MAN. So pwede na diretso PhD. Some more with the approval sheet, ma'am. May mga nakita pa po kayo.
Okay na po ako din.
Oo. Yung grade, okay, talagang nag-ano na sila, ma'am. They claim it, no? Very often with a grade of pass. Oh, di ba? Ano ito, futuristic sila, Ma'am Yasmin, no? Meron na yun sila with a grade of pass. Meron na, nilagyan na nila daan ng pasado. Talagang wala tayong choice mamaya, Ma'am Raisa and Ma'am Glenda. Pasado talaga ito sila. Okay, sa approval sheet. Sige lang, kasi final ninyo na paper, lagyan nyo naman yan. Pero in advance nyo lang. Okay. Sana di-blank nyo muna, no? Okay, so for the acknowledgements, This is the same no, with our recommendations to other programs. When discussing about the names, no, name muna, wag na kayo maglagay ng ma'am, no, like Resurrection Valencia, position niya, and then her role dun sa research ninyo. So like for example, Grace Joy Herada Nietes, RN, PhD, College Dean, for her support. Yan. Yun yung pagkasulat ninyo. Ha? And then kindly omit yung word na ma'am. Huwag na mag-ma'am doon. Some more for the acknowledgements.
Okay lang po din.
Oo. Ano ito ha? Like for example dito, to, dapat ito, Miss Yasmin Dalig, RMT, MPH, Program Head of the Medical Technology Program and Advisor for her support and guidance. Ganyan ang pagkasulat ninyo, ha? Okay, for the acknowledgements. So for the table of contents, Ma'am Reza, please, ano yung sa ating institutional format? Like yung list of appendices dito, ma'am.
Yes.
So, di ba, in our institutional format, after references, automatic appendices na agad.
Yes po.
Only list of tables and figures lang.
Yes.
So,
Pero parang inisa nila, no? Okay.
ang list of appendices kasi nila sa dulo nila nilagay. So, dapat it should come first before the list of tables and figures. To be uniform, no, with others. May additional pa ka doon, ma'am. The questionnaire.
Okay na po ako. Format, okay na po. Sa abstract po ako.
Okay, sa abstract. Pareho tayo. Okay. Aside from we recommend for a one page, meron kasi dito din ako napansin. I don't know, napansin mo din, Ma'am Glenda, yung our study discusses, no? So refrain from using our ganyan. Kasi dapat this research study or the researchers, ganyan. So wag yung our study, ha? So do not use as to dapat naka third person siya.
Do they need to mention that they weren't able to collect from GSDH?
Ma'am, no need na siguro, ma'am. Para sa akin, tanggalin na lang natin even doon sa proposal kasi nasali siya. Tatanggalin na rin siya sa lokal, so no need na to mention na doon. Na hindi na lang siya sinali talaga. But no need to mention that in any part na lang of the paper that they did not allow you to conduct the study. Kasi hindi naman siya natin isasali na sa lokal. Okay, some more suggestions sa abstract, mga madam. Diyan sa laptop ninyo, paki-highlight nyo na kaagad yung mga i-read nyo para it will be easier for you to go back no, for the minutes and during the revision of this paper.
Dean, meron na ako i-comment doon sa opening statement nila sa abstract.
Yes.
Medyo awkward kasi when you start the phrase this way, no? So kung ako lang, paki-rephrase siya na declarative. You do not start with parang ano ba itong word na determining. It's a verb or ano ba. Mas maganda kung declarative statement siya na you start with the subject and then you know the verb kasi parang pagka ganito I find it awkward. Wala masyadong gumagamit ng ganitong way of presenting your first statement.
Yes, ma'am, I agree. Actually, yung first paragraph nila kailangan ng revision talaga.
Yes.
No? The way they stated nitong first paragraph nila. No? So, students, please take note of that now with your abstract.
May comment lang din po ako sa last statement din po nila sa, kung si Ma'am Girlie sa first statement, ako sa last statement po nila din kasi the result shows good results. However, some services are still in need of improvements.
Oo.
I agree. I agree.
It should be
There actually
consistent sa
po,
result nila.
walang good or bad result. Results are just results. No? Let the reader judge that. Pero as researchers, huwag nating i-claim whether our results are good or bad. We just show what it is for what it is. Like, may correlation ba o wala. But you cannot say that dahil walang relasyon, bad na siya.
Siguro mas better kasi ma'am, dapat dun sa last nila na paragraph, itong pinaka salient na recommendation nila, yun yung mga dapat isulat nila doon. So hindi na this result, no, maganda yung result ng study.
Sa akin po din, they will end it with yung conclusion na there is relationship or no relationship. I would reserve siguro yung recommendation sa part lang talaga ng last chapter nila.
Ma'am, pwede man dito ma'am sa abstract natin kahit isang recommendation pinapa-include natin sa abstract. At least may isang pinaka-salient na recommendation. Para maging one page. Like if they will be revising the first, itong first part, kasi may like yung determining nila however this type of study, pag-revise nila ito, patanggalan ng 2 lines para aakyat yung keywords natin.
Meron pa pala ako idadagdag din yung sinabi nilang yung dismiss the doctor's hospital for having no response. You don't say that anymore. Particularly, napansin ko sa kanilang presentation dahil yun lang, no, kung hindi sila nasama, huwag nyo nang i-mention. Kung ano lang yung nag-gather, sila lang. Okay? So, kung pumalpak tayo doon sa isang hospital dahil hindi natin sila nakuha, we do not report that anymore. Even sa methodology, you don't report that anymore. You take them out. So, only those na nakuha ninyo, yun lang i-present. Tapos, huwag na kayong magrason bakit hindi sila nakuha. Kasi hindi naman sila na importante sa research ninyo. Whoever lang talaga, kung sino lang yung nandyan, iyan lang ang i-report. Huwag nang magbigay ng dahilan. Dito lang yan sa panel natin na bakit hindi sila naisama. Pero sa results ninyo, sa manuscript ninyo, it's irrelevant. So you don't include that anymore.
Yes, ma'am, pinatanggal naman natin yan sa lokal na rin.
Even sa scope nila din kasi nakamention din sa scope.
Lalo na itong a total of respondents tapos however, huwag na kayong magganyan. Diretso, no? Kung ano lang yung nakuha, yun lang. Tapos huwag nang magbigay ng the result shows good. Wala na yan.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, panelists. So shall we proceed now with the introduction? May additional pa po ba kayo, ma'am?
I think they have carried out naman the recommendations from the proposal.
Okay.
For their introduction.
Yung lang din, I would strongly suggest na mag-grammarian sila kasi like sinabi, one of the biggest factor. It should be one of the biggest factors. Isa sa maraming factor. So, please lang have it edited by a grammarian, no? Proofreader din para makita na talagang sinunod nyo rin yung mga dapat baguhin. Kasi kahit hindi siya nag-blue or nag-red sa inyong manuscript, you have to make sure na tama. Especially opening statement, may mistake na. Careful lang.
Okay. For the SOP, like for the 1.1 like gender, no, it should start with a small letter and then semicolon after. Then gender, say age, the small letter ang A, and then semicolon, at lagyan nyo ng N, no? Educational attainment, and after educational attainment, kindly add question mark. Same also with patient care management facility, semicolon, and then sa features, my question mark. Those are some of my comments, no? Technicalities lang. I don't know if my co-panelists would suggest more.
I would really the way you phrase kasi your introduction, RRL na to kasi ang the way na pinesent nyo, a study from, the study shows, hindi kasi dapat ganun pag nag-present, no? Diretso na satisfaction in ganito is diretso, wala nang a study show kasi pagka ganito, puro lang tayo a study show, pabalik-balik. Why don't you just present kung ano yung sinabi, tapos yung mga study show, it shows ganyan, mentioned by, wala na yan, diretso na kayo sa be direct to the point, no? Kasi nakita ko result show, study show, mentioned, wag na, study revealed, walang ganyan, diretso na yan. There is an association between the respondents, diretso. The respondents are satisfied in terms of physical appearance. So, para sa akin, you really need a major revision in terms of writing this, rephrasing it, no? There's so many things to do para sa akin. You really need a consultant sa writing, siguro English teacher para ayusin to. Kasi the way you write it, it's para sa akin, it's awkward. Hindi ganito magsulat ng introduction.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. It will pass through, no, after the revision, it will pass through a grammarian. So I think ma-lessen na yung concern natin in terms of how it is being written, no? Because there are some talaga part na it needs to really, some major revision, the way it is being constructed, no? So hopefully during the revision, idahan niyo na before it will pass through the hand of a grammarian, medyo naayos na yung pagka-construct, no? So just carry out the suggestion of the panel. Okay, so I'm done with the SOP introduction. Done na si Ma'am Glenda. Sa SOP, nasabi ko na rin. Ma'am Gabilagon, do you have any additional sa SOP? Okay na rin?
Okay na po.
So that we can proceed with the next part. That is ang hypothesis. Okay na ako sa hypothesis. It was well written based on the suggestion before. So for the significance of the study, none. How about theoretical framework? Carried out naman nila pati yung conceptual framework natin.
I really find it problematic, no? Yung the way you phrase, like for example, such comparisons, corresponding conditions. That's how you start your statements, and it seems to me na you're not reading journals. Hindi kasi ganito pag nagsasalita ang mga writers, no? So I would suggest, okay naman kasi ang content, the way it's written lang, it's para sa akin, it's improper. Again, I want you to rewrite, especially when you present the first line, no, ng statement ninyo. Yun lang. Para sa akin, problematic ito as a writer. Dapat hindi ganito. Hindi parang, eto, mas gusto ko pa itong sinabi ninyo sa page 5. The more customer experience is than the expectation, the higher customer satisfaction. Wow, medyo dumugo ang ilong ko dito. So I'll just highlight this and send it back to you. Tapos on the contrary, compared with the expectations, the worst customer experience brings lower customer satisfaction. You could have said this in one statement.
The experience is than the expectations.
So, medyo nachicharo ng konti yung aking utak doon.
The more customer experience is than the expectation.
It seems to me na
hindi ba siguro, ma'am, ang ibig sabihin nila ito, ma'am, we're in
ang may kulang dyan sa statement na yan.
palagay ko naiwan sa SM nung nagkaroon ng buy one take one ng sapatos yung statement na yan. So, pakiayos lang. It should make sense to you, no? Lalo na kung nagbabasa kayo. Parang sinulat lang siya. Or maybe because somebody told me 5 a.m. na kayo natulog. Just doing this. So, palagay ko hindi na nag-work na maayos ang neurons nyo. So, pahinga muna, no? Take a break before you write and then you go back to this manuscript. I would suggest 3 days na pahinga. Then you go back to your manuscript and reread it. If it still makes sense to you, ha? Pero para sa akin, did not make sense. Minsan kasi kailangan lang pahinga and then...
Baka according to this study, Mamo, kasi the more customer experience, ibig sabihin ito yung experience and maybe the studies about experience and expectations, maybe the way they paano na lang nila i-state dito. May i-restate lang talaga nila.
I think they have to talk to their grammarian siguro what they want to convey. Para kasi, or Tagalogin nyo muna. Pag naintindihan nyo sa Tagalog, sa kanyang Englishin. Kasi minsan kailangan lang ng gano'n.
I think they have to go back to the related literature.
Sa literature, yes, ma'am. Kasi parang it's more on experience and expectations, no?
They have to read the literature again and understand it before writing.
Ito pa, if the customer experience essentially flats with customer expectations, it belongs to the general level of customer satisfaction. What? Anong gusto niyo sabihin dito? Sige, unang salbo pa lang kayo so wag natin masyadong pero para sa akin, it really has to be,
Okay, so shall we proceed? So kindly take note of that, no, students. So for the conceptual framework,
siguro sa figure 1, instead of saying it's conceptual paradigm, you already put a title, the relationship between clinical laboratory services and patient satisfaction. Hindi yung figure 1, conceptual paradigm. Kasi yun na yung nilagay yung subtitle sa taas eh. So, figure 1, yung parang sort of title, yun na yung the relationship between. So, change lang yan.
so it should be the relationship between clinical laboratory services and patient satisfaction.
Yes.
Para matino po nila. Okay, scope and delimitation. I think we suggested before that when you revise for the final defense, past tense na po ito. So because you have written it the way you have written it during the proposal, no? Naka-future tense pa. So kindly make some revisions, no, with your scope and delimitation. And also, may I ask, when did you conducted this particular study? What particular month? So that you can also revise it. Is it January to March or it is February to April? When is that? Miss Arsenas.
Ma'am,
when did you conducted this particular study? Because in your scope and delimitation, you have written here January to March so that you can do some editing, no? When did you conducted the study?
We started po, ma'am. May po, ma'am.
Pero all the preparations like sending letters to the hospital, no? Department preparation yun when kailan?
Sending letters po, ma'am, to hospital and school po. We send it April po, ma'am.
When? Naputol ka?
February to April.
So kindly change it na lang sa scope and delimitation, ha? Paki-note na lang. Some more for the scope and delimitation, mga madam?
2 hospitals na lang ito ha.
Okay. Yung hospital, yung actual, kung saan kayo nag-conduct. Okay. Ma'am Gordy, may additional pa po kayo sa scope and delimitation?
I-correct lang po talaga din, yun lang nakikita ko.
Opo. Okay. For the RRL, I have read, no, mga nasa 6 to 7 pages lang. Actually, maraming studies. So as we mentioned during the proposal, there are a lot of studies about patient satisfaction. So you can explore more literatures, kindly enrich, no, your literature review para madami kayong mailagay dyan, no? Kasi naka-double space pa ito, tapos 6 to 7, around 6 to 7 pages lang. Padagdagan natin, kasi
Yes.
para maging substantial naman, no? Parang concept paper lang kasi.
Actually,
Oo.
ang opening din ng kanilang RRL sa patient satisfaction na part, parang ang liit.
I
Oo.
also agree.
Konti.
Lalo na they
Tapos,
started also patient. Tapos
Yeah.
kapitan ang
Kasi
S.
patient satisfaction, we have so many studies no? Are you using ProQuest? Kadaming mga researches about patient satisfaction. So, ilan kayo? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, kahit na 2020 literatures, times 7. Ang dami na, no? 100, ano na kayo? 40. 140
yun yung
literature.
mga variables nila sa study nila. I think they need to include
Yeah.
literatures about those things. Di ba yung sa ano ba yung meron kayong mga patient management, merong mga ganun.
Oo. Yes, ma'am.
Include nyo din sa literature.
Patient care management, facility, and also admin. It's mean leadership and management, especially in hospital setup. No?
Yes.
So, ano ba yung mga areas na dapat tingnan? We have so many, actually, mga especially studies, no, made by MAHA, yung mga graduates ng MAHA, management, hospital masters in hospital administration. Ang daming mga ang daming mga studies na regarding hospital administration. So you can get more literatures on that, no, from ProQuest. So kindly use our ProQuest. Okay, so kahit na tag 2020 kayo na literatures each, you can come up with 140 literatures. Okay, so kindly enrich it kasi parang naanuhan ako, parang concept paper lang. Naliitan ako sa kanilang literature, no? So make it more substantial naman, no? Kasi this is a degree paper ninyo.
And then, ang pagka-state lang din, sabi nga ni Ma'am Girly, ayusin niyo lang yung pagka-state. Yung first paragraph, example, Gabilagon conducted. Ang next paragraph, another naman, Gabilagon conducted. So, paulit-ulit lang yung pagka-state ng, that's yung paano lang nila state yung mga nakuha nilang mga studies. You, rephrase this one na para kayong nagkukwento na ito yung study niya and ito ang result ng study nito. So related studies yung sinasabi ko din kasi ang pagka-state lang ba.
Yes.
Mabuti nga hindi siya kagaya ng last time na according to, pagka-next na paragraph, according to na naman. Parang ganun yung labas kasi. Rephrase niya lang.
Okay, we're done, I think, with the RRL. So for the methodology, so what is your research design again? Ms. Dalumpines?
Our research design po, we use quantitative descriptive research design, specifically correlational study po, ma'am.
Okay, so it's a correlational study. So because you want to determine the relationship between two variables. Again, what are those two variables, Ms. Dalupines?
The two variables po, we have independent variable, we have the clinical laboratory services, we have the patient care management, the facility and administrative features. While the dependent variable, we have the patient satisfaction po.
Kasi alam mo yung study. As we mentioned, though, for the research locale, can you remove the Jensen Doctors Hospital? You don't need that here. And also, yung how it is being written, no, it should be revised. Naka-past tense na dapat, no, from the research design down to other parts of your methodology. Kasi naka-future tense pa. Some more, ma'am, sa inyong respondents, sampling technique for the instrument. I would like to ask if you can provide the range, no? Kasi you made mention in your ano dito, satisfaction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yung range so that we can also go back with yung legend ba ninyo ba? Pwede ba ipakita ninyo? Like for example, nag 4.11 kanina. Highly satisfied. Ano ba yan siya? Satisfied lang ba? Do you have the legend? What is the legend that you have used? Tingnan natin kung so that we can comment also. Can you show us on screen? Pressure legend, students. So dyan sa instrument ninyo, ano lang, naka 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lang siya. No, I am referring to like 1, ano ba yung range ninyo? From 1 to 1.8, low level of satisfaction. Kasi wala doon sa sa baba ng instrumentation. Usually we are asking that, no, sa ating mga proponents para at least yun yung naging basis ninyo na pag 3.92 or 3.88 high satisfaction.
Nasa baba po ng ano ma'am.
Pinakababa. Ay, dahil lang. Double
Excuse
check
me,
ko
hindi
yan,
na
ha?
po sa
Kasi wala doon sa ano natin. Can you include that
ang
one?
methodology?
Oo.
Ginawa nilang footnote.
Oo, pwede ilagay. Tsaka ito 4.50. Meron kasing, kailang ha, mention. Parang hindi siya equal yung ano sang range ninyo.
That is actually my question. How did they get the interval?
Oo, yung interval, ma'am, kasi yung
Actually, yung nakita ko po sa kanila nung nakaraan, it's 1 to 1.8 and I find it medyo malayo. So I suggested na mag 0 to 1.5 sila para hindi masyadong malayo yung very low sa next na bracket din. Kasi ang 1.8 malapit na siya sa 2. So, ang sabi ko, opo, in terms of range, parang masyadong malayo yung gap. Tapos, kung mag 4.8 na kasi sila para sa 4.8 to 5, masyado namang mataas yun. Oo, almost impossible na siyang ma-reach just in case or masyadong yung kanyang classification is too parang too narrow tapos yung ibang areas too wide. So para maging uniform siya, nag-suggest ako ng increment na 1 point, ng 0.5 no, in between sa ranges nila.
Paki-unshare niyo muna yung ano kung para maka-share ako ng screen. Kindly unshare your screen. Para kasi uniform sana ma'am with the entire institution. We are suggesting itong range na to. The research office later will be providing this range. Nakikita ito no for ito na range with the 0.8 interval. Equal ito siya. Yan siya na range. 4.21 to 5, 3.41 to 4.20. Kasi ang mag-change lang naman yan is the verbal description nila. So, like 3.11 dyan, ano yung ano ninyo, low level of satisfaction, no? Very low, low, moderate ba? High, very high. No? So, kunyari, 3.5 siya. Dito siya na-belong. So, that is high level of satisfaction. Itong range na to. Okay lang.
Bali, ang pinagamit ko pala sa kanila din yung sa isa mo, yung nasa taas. Kasi mas malapit doon. Yung sa pinakita mo kanina na 1.8, yung isa kasi is nasa 1.49. Yung kanina. Pero sige, I think if it will become an institutional...
Para ano na lang, uniform na lang, parang equal yung, yung interval. Kasi we've been into several programs, Ma'am Reza, para at least uniform na lang talaga siya. Kasi total, ang mag-change lang naman yun, it will not matter naman yung score. Ang ano lang is the verbal description.
Yeah, I agree po.
So based on the range. So yun na lang, i-change yung verbal description based on, nakuha ninyo yon kanina, na-screenshot nyo, students. Itong na-highlight ko, this
Yes
one.
po, ma'am. Opo, ma'am.
Screenshot na lang yan, yung 1 to 1.8, 1.81. Okay. Para uniform. So kindly include that also no, ng legend na yan doon sa baba ng instrumentation nyo in your methodology. Okay? Some more in our methodology. My colleagues, meron pa po ba kayong dagdag? Person more. Meron pa kayong dagdag, ma'am?
Yung sa research local lang po din, masyadong short. Tapos hindi pa rin na-correct. So pa-correct lang po. And then, tertiary private. Parang para sa akin, I find it very, very, parang napakakuripot sa description ng research local.
Kindly, like for example, if it is an ISO facility, and then ano yung mga magagandang services that they are rendering to the public, no? And maybe some of their accomplishments. So,
pwede rin po yung capacity.
At saka, hospital bed capacity. So like if there are 300 bed capacity na. And aside from, so make it sure, no, what we have written from the DOH kasi they are the one giving the facility, whether it is secondary, tertiary, kasi may bago na silang tawag to mga categories sa mga hospitals. So please check on that, no, sa doh.gov.ph. So with the two institutions. Ma'am Reza? Nag-appoint ka na.
Nagabasa ko bukunin sa isang mata.
Kaya talaga yan. Okay, for the statistical treatment. Para makaproceed na tayo sa results. Kasi may suggestion ako doon sa results nila. Kindly take notes, students, ha? Kasi hindi talaga pipirma ang panel, no? Unless all the suggestions are being carried out properly. So that is why you should have in your minutes part of the paper, the first column, the second part, suggestions of the panel, and then third, your remarks, no? So, doon yung ano ba yung mga ginawa na ninyo. Okay?
Yes, but din if ano yung matrix, importante yon based
Yes.
on this defense. They should be able to do that with screenshots and all.
Yes. Bigyan mo na lang sila, Ma'am Reza, lahat ng research groups ng ano natin, yung template natin for the minutes, ma'am, ha? Yung part, kunyari, from the introduction, and then suggestions of the panel. And then sa remarks, doon na nila ilalagay kung ano yung mga screenshot ng kanilang mga changes
Yes,
that they have made.
May ano ako dito sa research instrument. Bakit the participants will be interviewed through face-to-face interaction?
Wala na yan, ma'am. They need to edit that, no? Because based on their response kanina, they were able to use the questionnaires being, i-describe na lang nila kung ano talaga yung ginawa nila, no? Like,
Yes,
questionnaires, they just left it not sa hospital, and then through Google form, no? Online po yung pagbigay nila sa mga clients. Kasi hindi talaga mag-appear, pwede talaga na mag-face-to-face interview. No, because there is a chat memo, bawal talaga po yung mga face-to-face. So even in conducting research, lalo na ngayon, we have spike na in COVID-19 cases. Okay? So, Ma'am Reza, okay na doon?
Yes,
Please take note, no, of the suggestions of the panel. Okay, shall we proceed now with the results? I don't know if you would agree, Ma'am Glenda, yung sa demographic profile, ma'am, pwede ba instead of 3 tables, no, ipag-isahin na lang nila, isang table lang para doon, para nakasama, ano na ba, hindi na.
Ay, agree po din. Pwede naman nilang i-ano yan.
Oo, isahin lang, ma'am, isang table lang, liitan lang nilang font. I-merge lang ninyo, para isang table lang, isang tingin lang yung, yung demographic profile. So, kindly merge, no, the results of the 3 demographic profile. Yun yung pinaka-suggestion ko dyan. And make it, just simplify your presentation for the demographic profile.
I think since di ba din we shifted to IMRAD, we separate the results and the discussion.
Yes.
I can see some part of the discussion kasi sa results nila. And ang discussion is medyo wait lang ha. Kasi diba supposedly, when you say results, you just present the results mismo. So we have that tabular presentation and then followed by the textual presentation highlighting the most important results. And then you will discuss it sa discussion na part of the paper. So nalito lang ako when it comes sa sa discussion ninyo na part.
Siguro, ma'am, na lang, palipat na lang lahat ng analysis. Itira lang yung description and numbers and percentages or whatever coefficients, and then all analysis will be transferred. Para hindi na rin sila malito, may guide sila. Ang arrangement ng kanilang analysis will be based on the SOP pa rin.
Yes.
So, demogs, level, then correlation. So that, pili na mabungkag. Ilipat lang. Ayusin nyo lang, guys. Maganda naman yung the way you argued or you present your arguments, no, and your support. Pasok lang doon sa discussion.
Para results lang talaga ang nasa result section. And then analysis part will be sa discussion na section.
Okay.
And then they have to really arrange the discussion section, ma'am. Kasi
Yes.
I think their opening statement is on the significant relationship. That the
Yes, ma'am.
age
Mm-mm.
has the significant relationship and that gender and education walang significant relationship. You arrange this one according to the SOP.
Yeah.
And then
I agree with you, ma'am. Oo.
ipasok yung analysis na nilagay sa result section.
Mm. I'm just curious, no? What you focus more on in your recommendation? What particular result of your study wherein there is a need for character development? Is it on character development? Kasi gusto ko mas stronger na recommendation for the academe, no? Kasi we are in the academe. And then you're mentioning here about character. Okay. What particular result of your study wherein you were able to come up with that kind of recommendation? Can you go back with your patient care management? Parang nahihirapan na sila sa dami nating suggestions. Pwede balikan ninyo yung patient care management. Baka doon yung i-connect, no? Yung inyong recommendation. Miss Tan?
Ma'am. Doon po, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am?
So, what particular result, no, wherein you have the you have recommended that it should, the school should focus more on character formation. Or can you think of better recommendations for the academy? Like for example, Ma'am Yasmin is here. She is your program head. So what you can recommend to us? I'm the dean. So what you can recommend to us, especially we are part of the academy?
Well, actually, ma'am, na-highlight po namin yan siya due to the result po sa patient care management, which is, saan dito banda? Siya ang pinaka-lowest according sa result namin. The patients and explaining. So, yun yung i-highlight namin.
Patient is what?
Patients in explaining po, which is connected siya sa character development mismo, like sa professionalism siya ma-involve. Dun sa overall na parang character development ng isang healthcare provider. So yun yung parang highlight namin dun sa academe po talaga na not just about the skills and the academic, but also the attitude po and the character development. Then ma-enhance po siya para makamit ang high satisfaction po talaga, maging very high.
Pero your results,
patient in explaining, I think mas mababa itong patient care management, 3.88. Yung patients is 3.91.
Actually, ma'am, ang patient care management po
is 3.92.
I think that's the mean of the patient care management. Tama ba?
Yes po. Actually, ma'am, wala dapat yan siya. Wala po yan talaga yung patient care management. Is
kasi
variable.
Yes.
Variable po yan siya.
Variable nga ito siya. Yes. Under that.
And under that din, yung mga
laboratory
questions.
Ay, success. Dapat ang under niyan sa patient care management is laboratory staff attitude. Ang ano ko lang din dito, no, with all the indicators as well, it should come up as indicator. Kindly remove the translation. It should appear only in the questionnaire.
Yes po, yes.
Oo, kindly remove this one, itong pagdumala sa pag-atiman, because translation is needed no doon sa mga patients. But in presenting your paper, can you remove that one? No? So, ang pinakamababa talaga, 3 point patients
in explaining.
It's 1.1.2.
I think din nagkaroon ng confusion kasi yung mean nilagay nila sa taas.
Yeah.
Hindi nila
Dapat sa
nilagay
baba.
it's the
They should
grand.
transfer it here sa baba.
Actually, meron din po, because I did the stat, meron din po actually, hindi siya mean, ma'am. Meron po talaga siyang values. I think sinagutan din siya ng participants. Kasi iba ang kanyang iba ang kanyang, what do you call this, ang kanyang mean. Sinagutan po nila. May values.
Patanggal siguro natin, ma'am.
O pwede din po.
Patanggal natin yun siya kasi yung pinaka-mean dapat ng laboratory staff attitude at pinaka-mean din ng patient care management. I-add yung attitude, tapos yung facility, and admin. Yun dapat yun. So
unfortunately,
this one, patanggalan natin ito, itong dalawa. Yan. Tapos ang mean nitong laboratory staff attitude, i-transfer siya dito sa baba after 2.5. Pero may patient care management kaya po siya diriya nga mean.
Nakumpitan ko siya ng overall without
knowledge of the medical person.
I think din the way I understood this is lahat yan from number 1 hanggang sa baba para sa patient care management sila lahat.
Yes, oo.
So kaya nagkaroon ng confusion kasi supposedly the patient care management is the variable and then yan yung kukunan nila ng mean from the different items na under the patient
care management yung tatlo.
Yes po.
Oo.
And then they have the laboratory staff's attitude tapos iniisa-isa nila yung attitude. Kaya merong 1.1, 1.2, 1.3.
Opo.
And then meron na namang 2. This is for the knowledge of the medical personnel.
Okay lang naman yan na under sa isang sa attitude niya may 1.1 knowledge of medical.
Kunin lang
balikan nga natin yung ma'am niya sa SOP. Okay. Para maayos nila yung table na yan. Patient care management. Then facility, administrative features. Yun yung tatlo, ma'am. So under patient care management,
ayan na yung mga 1, attitude, 2, knowledge.
Ayan, ito. Sa kanilang patient care management, under is laboratory attitude, staff attitude, and knowledge of the medical personnel.
Yes, Dean.
Ayan.
And ito yung grand mean sa baba. Itong 3.9.
Grand mean, dapat yan siya ng
patient
care management na nasa taas, ma'am. Muna to siguro, ma'am. And then ibaba lang nila yun.
I think din, pero sabi ni Ma'am Girly, sagot daw yun ng mga participants ng mga respondents.
Wait lang ha. Sige, balik tayo. Yung heading nila, sinagutan din yun.
Pero tanggalin natin.
Pero hindi ko siya ni-run kasi alam ko na title lang yun siya. Pero para kunan siya ng lahat, binigay ko yun sa kanila. Now, meron silang 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Yun ang kinunan ko ng mean. And then, lahat ng means nag-overall mean. So, yung nasa baba na overall mean or total mean, that is for 1.1 to 1.3, then 2.1 to 2.3, 2.2. Ayan, ma'am. So, yes. So, yung total mean na yan only is applicable doon sa 2.1, 2.2, and then sa 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Hindi ko isinama yung kanilang mga headings kasi parang para sa akin redundant siya. Parang nagbigay lang sila ng overall na kung ang susumahin ko, ito lang titingnan ko yung pagdumala or patient care management. Ito yung ibibigay ko na rating. Pero yung individual, sineparate ko yun na meron siyang nakalump din na mean. So I can actually give them the raw if they want. Pero as far as yung groupings nila based sa SOP, naka-mean po yan na depende lang sa kung anong tawag nito. Yung like patient care management, yun lang yung laman nun.
Oo. Ma'am, parang ganito na lang maglabas, students, no? Ma'am Reza and Ma'am Gurley. So for the patient care management na mga indicators, they will get, di ba, may mga mean na yon bawat indicator, and then they will have the grand mean for the patient care management.
Yes.
So for the facility as well, pero yung kung sinagutan ng patient ito, kasi dapat ito dito, wala ito eh.
Dapat disregarded.
No, wala yan siya.
Kasi heading siya.
Oo, kasi heading siya. So,
pero sa stat po nila din, hindi ko yan siya isinama sa...
Oo, so hindi talaga nakasali dapat ito. So kung naging grand mean yun siya, pero they should write it sa lower part.
Yes po.
Yung mean ng patient care management. No? Same with the facility. May mean siya sa baba and also admin features. Kuha niyo mga students para at least klaro siya doon sa chapter 4 ninyo.
Itong ano po nila din, 1 tapos 1.1, yung pagkaintindi ko kasi yung 1, naging heading.
Wala na rin yan, ma'am. Yung 1,
heading like din siya, di ba din?
1, wala na ito, ma'am. Kumbaga ito, ang 1.1 is under, ano siya, dapat, ang 1.1 dapat siya, ma'am, calming and soothing. Ito lang.
Yan lang ang lagyan nila ng...
Oo. Ang ito, kung may data sila dito, tanggalin dapat yun, ma'am. Let's check doon sa nila ulit. Sa patient satisfaction dito sa Kasi heading siya, ma'am eh. So wala talaga siya. Dapat ang meron lang na presentation doon is ito. Mag-start sila, ma'am, sa calming and soothing. No, students? Remove this one, ha? 3.88, 3.92. So you start with the calming and soothing voice, patience, and politeness. Tapos mag-grand mean lang kayo dito sa baba. Okay? Ito, yung grand mean yan. Okay? Pang ganyan. Okay na, Ma'am Reza and Ma'am Girl?
Okay na po din.
Okay. So students, please take note, ha? At saka pinatanggal ko na rin itong mga this one. Patanggal nyo yung mga ano niyan. Madali lang naman yan. Delete. Hindi naman typewriter ginagamit natin ngayon. Kung typewriter, magta-type. At least ngayon, delete lang. Isang click lang, ma-delete na lang. Kung gusto nyo i-delete lahat pwede rin. Tapos, i-ano nyo lang, undo. Dali lang. Okay na, Miss Dalumpines. Kuha mo yung suggestion. Thumbs up niyo naman kayo dyan. Nakapag-almusal pa naman ito si Mr. Maningding. Okay, ginutom siya ulit. Ginutom. After ng almusal, ako, ginutom ako din after.
May clarify pala ako din regarding their independent and dependent variable. What again is your independent variable?
Na-mention kanina ni Mr. Lupines, ma'am.
Yeah, meron kasi akong question dun sa conceptual framework. Kaya ako nakaganyan kanina. Kasi tinitingnan ko yung conceptual framework nila din. Kasi as far as I understand their paper, ang kinuhaan nila ng correlation is the demographic profile and the patient satisfaction and the laboratory services. Tama.
Tama na yung SOP natin. Balikan natin. Demographic profile and the level of satisfaction on the clinical laboratory and the level of satisfaction.
Ay, mali nga ang kanilang
Yes,
conceptual
demographic
framework.
profile. Tama. Demographic profile. And then dito, ang clinical laboratory services.
Patient satisfaction.
Yeah,
on.
Yon.
Kaya nawala ko kanina na
revise. Pa-revise, tama. Ngayon ko lang din napansin, madam. Mabuti napansin mo. Sige, nagkwento ay mo ulo. Okay, so students, ganito na mangyayari ha. Yung drawing sa kami ni ma'am. Okay, ito na yung demographic
Demos.
profile. And then dito yung patient satisfaction and clinical laboratory services. Diba? Yan.
Yes po.
Okay na, Tina. Okay na, Ma'am Risa. Okay, students.
Nag-methodology na kayo kanina, din naiwan pa.
Kuha na ninyo. Baka ninyo sinulat yan sa dami. Bagay naka-record naman ito. Okay, so please take note that suggestion. And for the recommendations sa discussion, yung sa recommendation, kaya nung natanong ko kanina about character, I think you need to improve more, no? Yung mga recommendations. So like for example, nakita nyo doon, patience. Aside sa character, ano pa kaya ang pwede ninyong values? It's more on values and ano pa yung mga kailangang i-emphasize sa patient care management. Di ba meron kayong subject, patient care management? How to treat patients. Parang hindi na sila sumasagot.
Hallelujah.
Oral presentation.
Low bat, gutom.
Ability to answer question. Yung ano, may mga students nag-aagawan ng magsagot. Dito naman, pwede mag-agawan din kayo ng mikropono. Sige, mag-agawan kayo ng mikropono. What else can you suggest or can you recommend? Okay, aside from character development, kasi nakikinig si Ma'am Yasmin. Sa curriculum, what particular specific subject? Okay, any recommendation?
So far, ma'am, I think for the academe, we have stated na best doon na masuggest is about the character development of the professional, such as the medical technologist. So I think wala naman din po masyadong ma-add kasi aside from the patient management din po, we are most probably covered po sa laboratory lang po na area, and we are not really into some other. Yes. I think po ang service din po, ma'am, that the clinical laboratory is providing for the patient.
You might as well include, no, that yung academe, no, parts of the academe, maybe enrichment of the present curriculum that would really enrich, no, in terms of patient care management. And as you mentioned, it is maybe values formation or character
To add, ma'am,
development.
in our curriculum, sa pre-analysis to pre-lab analysis to post-lab. So sa academe na recommendation, ma'am, yun lang, medyo wala na ibang maisip na recommendations, ma'am, kasi from patient prep until releasing of the results, pina-practice man always.
In addition din po, ma'am, to the academe po, in the subject po na community and public, na dapat more engage sa community po, ma'am, to acquire attitude po, ma'am, and
Miss Arsenas, no, this is a hospital laboratory, right?
yes. Yes po, ma'am, pero in the subject po, ma'am, we can apply in the laboratory po, ma'am, in patients in explaining po, ma'am.
Ma'am Raisa, may mga additional pa kayo na comments and suggestions? Ni Ma'am Girlie?
Ay, wait lang. Bakit ano nangyari? Sandali lang din.
Nag-video off, nag-camera off na. Ay, nag-off.
Ang sa akin lang po din, they really have to do major revision lalo na dun sa writing style nila kasi para sa akin, I find it quote-unquote 75% unacceptable. Lalo na yung wordings nila. Pero content-wise, I would say maganda. Maganda ang laman, hindi lang talaga maganda ang pagka-arrange. So I would strongly suggest see a grammarian, yung nakapag-masters na kasi yan, nakapagsulat na yan, maganda na yung kung paano nila ipipresent yung mga ideas nila. And I see na talagang minadali yung papel. Obvious masyado nasa tawag niya nasa present or future tenses, and then murag naglibog mo between quali and quanti na paper na nag-I, our, we kayo. Walang ganun. Third person lagi yan. The researchers lagi. And yun, i-carry out lang talaga. Para sa akin, maganda na yung papel as it yung laman, ayusin lang kasi hindi talaga siya maayos. And you get a very good grammarian na nakapag-research na para matulungan kayo ng maayos. Kasi kung ako, sasabit nyo to sa akin, hindi ko talaga to pipirmahan as approved, as is ha. Kasi marami talaga siyang babaguhin. So, as far as the paper is concerned, yun lang ang akin. Ayusin.
Okay, so thank you, Ma'am Girlie. Actually, no, the college department had official grammarians sa school, and we will just be informing Ma'am Yasmin who is the grammarian assigned. No, yung mga those with English, may mga sila, mga graduates sa AB English or education major in English. So meron na tayong na-assign ng mga teachers, so we'll be informing Ma'am Yasmin to relay that message to you. After you revise, it will pass through the grammarian before it will be submitted to the panel for final review and signature. Okay? So I think we are done, Ma'am. It's almost 11 o'clock for the first group. So hopefully next group, 1 hour, 1 hour. Okay, so talagang nauna, akala ko nga 1 hour lang tayo dito. Sabi ko nga kanina, ano kita ba? Basta magsabi tayo ng 1 hour, gani, matutaya, chuta. Okay, so let's proceed with
Breakout room.
with our breakout room. Now we'll be deliberating first, and then we'll go back here in the main room.